Alright, let's see if we got the stream thing working again, friends. Holler at me if I'm too loud. It's probably been, I don't know, 7 weeks since I used this microphone. No, maybe a little bit less than that. I think I may have used it at one point for playing League or some nonsense and hating myself afterwards as I hadn't played enough and played horribly and all this other nonsense. We've got a silly alarm clock in our way. Alright, Mr. Clock, you're in the way. You can tell time over there. Ooh, what's going on, MTG bot? You're letting us know stuff. Let's hop in the real chat here. Twitch TV, Magician 5. I think that's me. Got a whole list of things. What's up, Wizard Adapt? How you doing? Long time no see. Oh no, it tells me my video preview is offline. That's not great. Can you guys hear or see me? I don't know if it's just my dashboard that's lagging or if I'm failing miserably or what's going on. Because it certainly looks like on OBS's side my webcam and all that jazz is working. Interesting. It says I'm broadcasting, but I see no picture. Alright, let's see what's going on over here. Webcam and all that jazz. Never mind, I hear myself. Alright, life's great. Alright, let's first of all view our deck. Hopefully you're not going to see some crazy concoction, you're going to see some real jazz. I'm going to let some people trickle in and I'll give a formal apology for being an awful human being and not streaming enough for everybody. Trying to like text a bunch of friends and let them know I'm on. Alright, I think everyone's caught up. I have some friends joining us here in chat. Alright, let's scroll over here so I can actually read the chat. Video's a little laggy, but we can hear and see you. That's not great. How do we fix that? Huh. Well, let's... I don't remember the hotkey to pull up Task Manager. I don't remember the hotkey to pull up Task Manager. Okay, that was weird. I wasn't clicked on OBS at all, but somehow the mic volume went down. Maybe it was when I scrolled on the scroll wheel and I was clicked on OBS in the background, potentially? Very compuzzled. Let me know if it's back. I assume it should be working again. So I'm going to assume if it is working again, I'll start rambling until somebody tells me it's not working. Very compulsive. Alright. No. I get a yes and a no. Who's like, okay, alright. Diego will spot you. I don't think you were trying to troll me. I think you were genuinely like, oh no, the sound's gone. I'm so sad. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I think I accidentally misclicked on OBS. But Justin Cohen in the chat asked, why don't we have a copy of Devour Flesh? Speaking of which... Oh my lord, I'm so bad at this. Alright, figured it out. Speaking of which, Devour Flesh is really good against Death Shadow. You can get them to sack one of their Death Shadows, gain life equal to its toughness, therefore it puts them out of range. The reason why I don't think you need to do it, or need to play a copy of Devour Flesh, is that Boggles is not very popular, and in the raw essence of the Death Shadow matchup, I think you can one-for-one most of their threats pretty effectively, and actually take over the longer games, just because your top decks are so powerful through 7 commands, 4 Snapcaster Mages. Tasker does not do a great job of brickwalling them in that matchup. I actually usually board down on Tasker, even though the removal doesn't really ever kill it. But you can one-for-one them pretty effectively, and then get them into spots where you can, like, Bolt and Creeping Tar Pit finish them off. Scooter, I haven't played any Grixis Shadow at all, but I assume the deck's great. I mean, you could just play, like, 18 lands, and you could just play Dark Ritual still. And by Dark Ritual, I obviously mean Thought Scour, so there's that. Wait, Vey. Tasker is too strong. 19 lands usually. I mean, that makes sense also. It's not like they're going to want to play Serum Vision, so... I guess I could actually hit the Find a League match, but that would require me actually paying attention to the screen. Sovereign Isle is great, Scooter. I can't imagine that deck with Probe Legal. I mean, yeah, it just goes to show you that we're all not as smart as we think we are, right? Like, there's just so many different combinations out there. Like, we missed that thing the entire time when we had Gitaxian Probe, and it wasn't like the deck got significantly better. In fact, it certainly must have gotten worse. We just sort of forced people to build their decks better, and by forcing people to build their Jund version better, people learned, oh, there's a Sultai version, oh, there's a Grixis version, oh, there's this 4-color version that splashes white. Destroy the Shadows decks. Yeah, I tried to get back in the hang of things again on Tuesday night? Tuesday night I played a little bit, and Thursday night I played a little bit. Played against 3 Affinity players, 1 Death Shadow, and 1 Burn. Lost to one of the Affinity players and the Burn players. They did not play very well. But, you know, such is life. But hopefully we can clean it up here. People learned, oh, Death Shadow's a super strong modern card. Yeah, that's pretty close to how it went, Justin. People realize that, you know, 1 mana 8/8 is really great. Who would have thought? I clicked join match, but it says waiting for opponent to join. So my opponent just is too scared. Too scared. Yeah, Scooter. Shucks. I have to put Thoughtseize in my deck. No, I might build my deck better. It's a silly world. Silly, silly world. See, to some people it's a 1 mana 8/8, to some people it's a 1 mana 7/7, to others it's a 1 mana 6/6. You also just get to put a 2 mana 6/7 or what have you in your deck. That's a deck that I think of and it's like, man, just think if Deathrite Shaman were really good. Would they even play it? Would it even be good enough? We're fighting the Azure Mage. They're 0-1 right now. Man, MTG Bot is on it. Hey, what's up? Thank you, I appreciate it. I gotta get back in the swing of these things. I do enjoy this a lot, and it's nice that the computer's all fixed up and all pretty and all happy, and this hand's freaking great. Yeah, Rudy, I assume Deathrite would be very good. It's a matter of would that deck play it. I'm intrigued. Alright, let's see here. If we get a Steam Vents, then we have to shock ourselves with Blood Crypt, we be at 15. We can then play an EE for some number. Alright, we're just going to get a Steam Vents going to 17 here, I think. Trying to figure out this hand wants double red. I mean, I certainly... Yeah, I can't really afford to not have the option to play Terminate on turn 2, I think. Alright. Off to the races. Just lost 5 minutes ago to Etch Champion. I mean, Affinity and Dust Shadows and Taskers and Grixis. Yeah, that's the life, Diego. I have a push in the main board and the sideboard. How? I got 4 of them from the Mox. You're so silly. You're an absurd human, Rudy. You're just lying to people about how I can't afford $1 cards or whatever it is. I don't even know what a Fatal Push goes for. I know I bought one at the silly Pro Tour for 6 because I left all of them in my room. That one I felt real dumb. Alright, gets a Flooded Strand here. This could be Bantle Drazi. Could be Pure Steel Paladin. I don't know why my opponent's fetching my draw step. An untapped Hallowed Fountain? What in God's name is going on? Alright, I think this is my opponent screwing with me. I'm going to actually shock myself and pass. I think they're on Pure Steels, and I have no idea what would fetch Hallowed Fountain untapped there. If this is wrong, it's probably not that wrong. Ooh, this is the good old game of 2 players, you know, fetch shocking themselves for no value. Magic's great. I don't know if a player's made a logical play yet this game. Never mind, I made one. I suspended Ancestral Visions on 1 open mana. Scooter, I've leveraged that before where you kind of just look your opponent in the eyes and go, what kind of person is this? I don't highly advise profiling someone, but you can certainly do it. Yeah, SMI, I will pull it up after this match if you don't mind waiting, or we can actually look at it during sideboarding if you're cool with that too. But I will certainly make sure the list goes out to you. Yeah, Scooter, if it wasn't, we got bigger problems. Alright, we're not going to play Serum Visions here. Again, this could be Pure Steel Paladin, and I don't just want to, you know, get gotcha'd. So there's just no reason here to let down the Terminate. Could play EE for 0 there. I think that's like a reasonable thought process. Think twice. There's Esper Control. Alright, so this is fine. Our life total is not super relevant in this matchup. No reason to run out Snapcasters and start attacking. They're just not going to do much on that facet. Second Tassiger is decent. We just need to find a Thought Scour here. Hey, there's a Thought Scour. How lucky. Do I want to put any of these spells in my graveyard? So it's going to make it 2. The Steam Vents gets tapped to the Thought Scour. That's 3, 4, 5. The Tasker gets cast off the Singleton Blood Crypt remaining. I do believe I want the Creeping Tarpon in my deck, and I believe I want the Kolaghan's Command left in my deck also, so I'm going to bottom both of these cards. You don't usually come up with that problem, but that's unfortunate. We're going to exile Snapcaster Mage, but I'd rather get this guy Path to Exile and get us sort of on the road to doing something. If it gets remanded, it gets remanded. It's not great, but I'd much rather have another land on the battlefield, considering having an Ancestral coming off Suspend. Casting another Think Twice, holding up the white. Path my guy, deal. Get basic island. Of note, we did exile a Watery Grave there. So we're down on a blue-black land in our deck. Main phase, Think Twice, missed a land drop. Alright, so if we can hit another Thought Scour here and get another Tassiger, we should be in a spot where we can start snowballing pretty heavily. 2 more Ancestral Visions is nice. Cryptic's also decent. So here we can go play Tassiger off the fetch and Suspended Visions. I think it's going to be our best line pretty much regardless. Again, we don't want to fetch basics in this matchup because of Path to Exile. Let's go get that other Water Graves. It's our best land remaining in our library. I would like to pay some lives. And get out of here, friends. Oh yeah, Scooter, when you get to Fatal Push a Colony, you just feel like you're cheating. Why not Suspend and Cryptic Bounce? I just don't think that you need to like try to mana screw them in that way, like in getting them to go to discard step. Like, they have so many cards sitting there in their discard pile. The way that we're going to win the game is trying to advance our board state here. And our opponent sort of already made a play there of Desperation the turn prior, so it's not likely they have counterspells. So if I can keep them tapping out, I can keep applying pressure to them in sort of the way that I want to dictate the game, which against a blue-white control deck, I want to be playing to the board, as they're going to be much weaker at it in a long-term game. So if I can sort of get them to start firing point removal at Tasigur, getting cards out of their hand, I can fight a long-term game over manlands and over... let's see, I want this Polluted Delta. I have Steam Vents remaining, and I've got the Blood Crypt already, so I will keep this land. I can start fighting a game over resources that matter to me. So we've got a crap ton of cards that don't matter. I thankfully do have another land on the top of my library. I do want to just keep making land drops, and I want to leave open a Tasigur activation. If I suspend this Visions, though, I can't leave a Cryptic. We'll just leave up Cryptic and leave up Tasigur activation. I also don't want to have two Ancestrals coming out suspend on the same turn, if possible. So the other benefit of getting Path is that it just allows you to start making the rest of your hand function. Interesting. They cast a Think Twice from hand instead of from graveyard. So they're just concerned of discarding hand size again? That's fine. They're just gonna like cast Gideon Drawer or something. Kitchen Finks? I don't really care about that. Okay. So many Think Twices. Mismatched Islands. This is just not okay. Yep, you're at 14, friend. Just gonna start cycling through a bunch of rotations of spells. I have another land on top of my library. I've got a Snapcaster I want to start using. I've got this Tasigur I want to start using. Playing heroes, we're just going to Gulligan's Command, make them discard, shock their Finks, terminate the second side of it, and just try to start turning card advantage. You and that. My opponent is a Remand or something, they can use that. They're Billie Jean. They always remember to think twice. Interesting. Mana Leak, my Gulligan's Command. That's fine. We can keep trading resources. Nope. Alright, do I want to burn this Terminate? Given that, I don't really feel like I need to. This is fine. Deck you with the Tasigur. Not even a chuckle. Interesting, they're gonna block there? Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna fight over their Finks, so they can just have lives if they wanted. I thought they wanted to race. I think racing for them is like not a horrendous spot. They're just so far behind on tempo that it just looked weird to me. So functionally I'm at 9 with that fetch land that I'm gonna crack. Let's get another Visions up there. Again, no real need to suspend the explosives. I'm not going to go for a Snapcaster Gulligan's Command on end step. My opponent leaves up mana, as I would expect and or fear a potential copy of Restoration Angel. No attacks. Interesting. I don't really think I want to activate my Tasigur. I'm just going to crack my fetch land and then just not activate Tasigur. I have so many cards coming on layaway from these Ancestral Visions that I just don't really have an incentive to move. Like, nothing in this game incentivizes me making plays. as my opponent is neither attacking nor advancing their board state, so I'm just winning the longer the game goes. These Think Twices are just so much worse than my Ancestral Visions. Alright, there is in fact a Restoration Angel. Alright, so do we want to fight over this? And if so, how? Yeah, I think we just Cryptic this. This is fine. Counter target spell, draw a card. Yeah, it works for me. It's immune to Mana Leak. Not great against a remand. If they have a remand, then what we do is we go ahead and let this Restoration Angel flicker this. We go ahead and terminate the silly Restoration Angel. You could just kill the Fixer if you really wanted to, but I just don't really see a need to. Again, if my opponent's on the alright, well, we're just going to line up double blocks, or I'm going to block my Kitchen Finks last turn to try to set this Restoration Angel play like we assumed that they had. It's fine. We're just trying to burn spells out of our hands, so we're all happy with this as they're trading mana for mana and just trying to race. So they are going to line up the double block as expected. Sure, it doesn't make a difference to me. Kill that creature. And black. Odd little play by my opponent. I don't think I like their play. But, I mean, I guess if they have an Elspeth or something, I get to resolve an Elspeth now. And then I just have to, like, Snapcaster, shock them, and buy back my Tasker if it dies. And if they plus, no land, no spells, no attacks. Alright, it's probably no Restoration Angel, I guess. But even an evac? What is evac, Lunaria? Counter target spell, draw card. Okay. Sure. Got a Remander and a Gate? Nope. Okay. I'd like to draw some more cards. Can I have a land? Lands are good. I like lands. Yeah, there we go. This is Magic the Gathering at its finest. I feel like I'm just clicking buttons at random, to be completely honest. Maybe replace the EE. Oh yeah, Diego, the EE is really bad in this matchup. Alright, so we know from our opponent's plays the last couple turns, they can't possibly have, like, a giant Planeswalker threat in their hand. They just drew a land this turn. They can't really have Six's Revelation, as I think they should have read for 3 main phase. This attack doesn't really make any sense to me based on the line of plays they've taken. Again, I just don't have an incentive to actually do anything with my Tasker here, as I've got another 3 cards coming off on layaway. I didn't really want to bolt my opponent's thing there, as then they get to flicker it against Restoration Angel. Also, I'm at 9 points of life, so it's not like I'm actually in a threat of dying anytime soon. Do they have a Vendilion Click? Ooh. Okay, that can resolve. We'll try to bolt it. If they go for a Restoration Angel, then I'll Cryptic the Resto. They're targeting Mirror themselves. Targeting me. Okay, so yeah, let's bolt V-Click. I expect them to Restoration Angel, at which point I'll Cryptic it, and then I'll probably also kill the Finks, but... Alright, at this point, if you want to take one of my Snapcasters, have one of them. I don't need them all. I'd prefer a land, in all honesty. So I don't want to discard that many cards. It's only 3 UU for evac. What does evac do? Does it bounce off creatures? I assume it's upheaval but doesn't hit lands. Maybe it also doesn't hit planeswalkers or something. Alright, so they cycled a Cryptic. They have 2 cards remaining in their hand. We drew a K command. Drew another K command. Alright, if my opponent goes for an end step copy of Think Twice, we'll go ahead and shock discard the Finks, and then we will shock them and make them discard, so they go down to no hand. And then we'll have the good old Snapcaster Bolt, Creepy Tar Pit, and all the friends killing our opponent. Alright, and they did go for it. Let's kill that and kill your creature. The best part is they don't know about either Kolaghan's command, so they just have no idea this is coming. Alright, they just Spell Pierce. Interesting. Alright, well, we'll shock you and make you discard a card. Alright, friend, you get 2 draws. Hope they're good ones. The Snapcaster Mage was the last card. Okay, that makes sense. Alright, so they can draw some extra cards with some Think Twices, but in all, I think they're in a really rough spot. Considering we have, 7 points on the board showing they know of the 2 Snapcaster Mages in our hand. Ghost Quarter's a little annoying. Alright, what is this? 2 Think Twices got flashback. I'm sorry, I should pull up their exile policy, you guys can all see it. Play Blessed Alliance main phase to gain life. Okay. Poor opponent. I don't question these things, Kasari, but they're playing it. Alright, so what do we have? We have 4, we have 8 lands, we get up to 9, so 9 allows us to go Bolt Snap Bolt, and Creepy Tar Pit, and Tassiger, and that's 13, if I counted correctly. I could do the math to make sure I counted correctly again, but, that's a lot of work, and I don't know if we have the time for that. We've got time for killing our opponents, so we'll do that instead. Ooh, maybe we'll get Surgical Extraction. Yeah, whatever. Target the bolt. Wait, come back, we're not done with you yet. Alright, so our opponent's on blue-white nonsense. Thanks, Mary, appreciate it. Spell Pierce of the... yeah, I don't know. You can do things. People will do it. Somebody was looking for the list. Gosh, I'm really bad with names. I'm going to get better at this, I promise. I think it was SMI, right? SMI 51040. If you want to go ahead and print screen, pull up snipping tool, what have you, this is the current list we're running. We're fighting against the blue-white nonsense. Against blue-white nonsense, let's get... First of all, let's get this Fatal Push out of here. Let's get some of these bolts out of here. Probably one of the Terminates. Let's see, we definitely want the Counter Squall. Definitely want the Fulminators. You want the Fulminators because it's a blue matchup. The blue matchups, again, people struggle to commit to the board because they're so, hesitant holding up their counter magic. You want all the additional counter spells. That pulls you up 7 cards, and you usually want 1 copy of Surgical Extraction to fight over Snapcasters. So that means we want 8 cards coming out the other side. Let's try to figure out the next worst cards and whether or not we want to board in 1 card to hedge against Geist of St. Traft. I usually do like bringing in 1 thing that hedges against Geist of St. Traft. It's usually Anger of the Gods. Also, given the fact that our opponent has Kitchen Finks, I'm more likely to bring in Anger. Alright, so those are the 9 we maybe want. It's possible the Surgical's like the last card out, so we'll leave that off to the side for just a second. We definitely want to leave in 1 Terminate to deal with Colonnades. I'm trying to think if there's any other cards here we can realistically board out. Scooter, can you post the Imgur link when you do that? Oh, Scooter, you're a gas. Thanks, man. Pay 2 life to Surgical and kill himself anyways. Charles, I don't know what you're talking about, man. What do you mean, pay 2 life and kill myself anyways? I do like committing suicide. I mean, you see me play this deck. All I do is shock myself all the time, so I'm just like, yeah, my life total doesn't matter, blah, 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 blah. Alright, blue-white usually goes longer, so I usually like all 4 Cryptics, but if I'm going to like Spell Pierce and a bunch of nonsense, I think I'm going to shave 1 of them. I'm probably going to go down to 1 Bolt. I do like leaving in 1 just because it fights over nonsense cards like Vendilion Click. Bolt's pretty poor overall, but... I mean, I guess we could play second Terminate. Yeah, screw it, let's play second Terminate. We do have 3k commands, 1 Anger. Yeah, this is way better. Alright, we're like hyper reactive in this configuration, which I'm like not a huge fan of, but... Whatever, we'll just draw a turn 3 Fulminator Rage and Fulminate our opponent a lot and the game will end. See if there's anything else we're missing. Nope. Corey, we need to see their deck list. Our opponent's deck list? Oh yeah, that was the best part. Cryptic is medium against negates and dispels. Yeah, nope, I agree. That's why I boarded down 1. We could have boarded down 2 or 3 possibly. Yeah, Scooter part. Yeah, that's certainly another reason to leave in a second copy. Alright, his hand's bad, but, I mean, there's no reason to mulligan 3 lands in a control mirror. Our opponent, I mean, you saw what happened. They missed their 4th land drop despite casting 2 Think Twices, and the game basically ended on the spot. Like, we were basically casting spells at random the rest of the game, and that was what determined it. Alright, well, maybe we should have only had 2 cryptics. Maybe you can't draw 3 cryptics when you leave 2 cryptics in your deck. I don't really want to fetch, so I won't. Yeah, I don't really want to fetch. Screw it. Screw it! There's an argument to playing the Polluted Delta there in case our opponent plays Geist of St. Traft. You want to just flash in a Snapcaster Mage and have something on the battlefield. Alright, Fulminator Mage, you look really silly on this board. Our opponent has 3 basics. What's happening? Come on, man. Come on. Given that we're still just going to go to 17 here, get a Steam Vents, and get this Fulminator on the battlefield. Again, if it gets Path to Exile, like, sure, we can't go get it back with the Kolaghan's Command, which is weird, but it's not the end of the day. Also, it's impossible for opponents to not have non-basics during their draw, so if it gets Mana Leaked, like it literally did, we're perfectly fine trying to fire off another 2 for 1 on a later street. Alright, main phase, think twice. Our opponent's about to miss a land drop. They don't. Good on them. We're about to miss a land drop. Let's go ahead and Serum Visions, help me find a land. Find a Tasigur and 2 lands. So we can't cast the Tasigur, but we definitely do want both of these lands. I don't want just one of them, so I'm actually going to put both on top in the opposite order, leaving the Flooded Strands second. Of note, the Flooded Strand's running out of lands to get, so we're going to want to crack that one quickly. So pretty unfortunate spot is we're the first one to miss a land drop here in this game. Part of the risk you run when you play 22 lands and a million cantrips. Yeah, Baku. The hand sucks, tacky, but yeah, that's kind of mood I'm in tonight, I guess. I mean, got ourselves a Heineken, it's Friday night. Eh, whatever, screw it. Main phase, flashback, think twice. Sure, you got it, dude. Kind of one of those moods I kind of just want to flash in the Snapcaster Mage because I think it's going to do like 8 points of damage. I think it might make my opponent make a mistake. You know what? Screw it. Whatever. What are they going to do? They're going to Spell Snare this? I'd be so happy. My philosophy, if it has 7 cards, you have to keep it. It's a good strategy. You would probably win more matches not doing that, but, you know, more power to you. Alright. I don't think my opponent left Wrath in. Do I want to leave? I do want to leave the Fulminator in my graveyard. And again, my life total, I don't believe matters, so. The little Tasigur that could. Delta Visions. Alright. No, well, whatever. I look stupid, that's great. Alright, so let's see. If we Kolaghan's Command, make them discard, buy back our Tasigur, that puts us back to 3 cards, this puts us to 4. We can exile the whole graveyard. The problem is like, our last card that actually does anything is a Snapcaster Mage. It does make our Tasigur really good, though. We have all these cryptics, so like if the Tasigur ever sticks, we're just kind of doing it. Alright, yeah, I'm in for this. Alright, get back up here, Tasigur. Make them discard a card. Again, I'm just going to be fetching non-basics here. Yeah, they're just going to Wrath, apparently. I mean, if they have a second Wrath, I mean, I guess they can burn a Wrath to kill Tasigur. I'm kind of sad I'm burning all his resources for this. They discarded a Kitchen Finks. So they're just discarding creatures. Makes me a little less likely want to just get the Steam Vents because my hand's pretty bad if they actually just have all creatures. Alright, whatever. This could be wrong. If it's wrong, it's probably not wrong by that much because you don't leave in many red cards post-board in this matchup. But hey, there's a Geist of St. Traft. Speaking of the devil. Fulminator Mage and another Tasigur. I think we passed the point of where you're going to shine Fulminator. I feel like I want the second Tasigur, though, as odd as that sounds. Fulminator's like fine-ish. I don't really have a way to shuffle away this Tasigur if it is bad, though. That's the rough part. Could just bottom. I hate that. Alright, yeah, bottom, screw it. Can't pay for a spell pierce, so we'll just put that in the battlefield tapped. Already have Tasker mana open. Opponent goes for any shenanigans here in end step, we'll just counter draw. No, that's fine. You can draw a single card. Spawn of Haster. You probably answered this, but do you have any opinion of the Grixis Shadow decks? Yeah, I think they're really good and really strong. They are something that I might play on stream. I don't know if I own all the cards for it, but I can certainly probably acquire them. Glenelender Archmage. Alright, well, this is probably going to get mana leaked and I'm going to be really sad. I'm probably going to lose. But yeah, I think that deck's really powerful, and I'm glad that we're starting to see it, as I think it's a really powerful deck, and it's surprising that it's taken us this long to, you know, finally reach the point where we think that we're reaching the other really powerful decks in Modern. Alright, what to do here? I really hate just sitting here, because my opponent's like drawing all these cards to think twice, but they just have a silly Geist of St. Traff. I've got all these Cryptics. Alright, whatever, let's just Thoughtscour ourselves. Hey, Anger of the Gods. I like that magic card. It's a good magic card. Do I want to leave up Cryptic this turn again? Or do I want to play Anger? Boy, one more turn I can do Anger with Cryptic up. They obviously don't have a counterspell because they would have counterspelled back on my Cryptic on the previous turn. So now it's just a matter of, do you want to Anger away the Geist of St. Trapp, try to turn the corner? I think the answer is no. I don't think I need to yet. Again, I think I can just keep leveraging this Tasker, as they didn't get packed last turn, and my opponent didn't have a way to fight and save their Glenelendra, so I assume their hand's fairly weak here. Hey, Path's Exile. I'm glad we didn't go for it. Counter target spell and draw a card. That's what I'd like to do. Tapping Creeping Tar Pit's important against the Ghost Quarter. Not super relevant in this spot, as I don't ever expect my opponent to just fire off their Cryptic backing. That's fine. We'll just flash in a Snapcaster Mage and trade if worse comes to worse. Alright, that gets countered. That gets killed. Let's see, let's get another island. If we really want to, we can flash in the Snapcaster Mage to kill this Geist, or we can just Anger. I think I'm just going to Anger. Go to 8. 8's fine. Hit F6, but I don't know what happened. Maybe hit F7. Who knows? Scalding Tarn. Do you have any targets left? Do you have a mountain? A mountain. Mountain and island. Okay. Alright, Anger that nonsense away. Play Scalding Tarn. Light main field enchantment. Whenever one or more creatures attack, light main field is damage to those creatures equal to the number of attacking creatures. Goodness gracious. Alright, let's just make sure I didn't miss something. I didn't, like, exile my Blood Crypt, right? Okay. I'm gonna go with the Blood Crypt here. Again, I don't really want to draw more lands, and I don't expect my opponent to, like, make a play when I crack my fetch line there. Oh, did I accidentally load up a wrong version of the deck with only 2 islands? I think I did. Because there's not an extra island to search for. That's comedy. Okay, so I accidentally loaded up a wrong version of the deck. I don't know what card's wrong, though. Alright, let's go ahead and Thoughtscour ourselves. Terminate, it's not bad. Don't have another K command yet. Once we find a K command, we can actually try to start turning the corner. I'm not going to Cryptic this thing twice here, there's just no purpose. It's probably correct there to actually animate my Creeping Tar Pit. Try to get them to Ghost Quarter and try to strip them off lands. That probably would have been better. Five, 9, they strip mine the Creeping Tar Pit, I go back to 6. Yeah, I certainly should have done that last turn, that was bad. That was bad. Alright, well, no reason to do it now, as we actually have, like, incentive to hold our spells back. Alright, what is this nonsense? Resto Angel? Sure, that can resolve. Let's terminate it. Should we terminate an upkeep? No, I don't want to fight with them with the Cryptic up. I just want to actually get this thing dead. Alright, Spell Snare. I get mana leaked, but it's like gonna get mana leaked no matter what. Probably get Dispel or negated or mana leaked or something. I'll die. Yep. This all sucks. I did not play well. I did not deserve to win. Could have played around this by activating Creeping Tar Pit last turn, but I played badly. Getting exactly what I deserve. Well, that was an above average draw. Alright, well, my opponent goes, so they don't have another Think Twice in their yard. Never mind. Alright, well, Snapcaster, you're gonna need to work this time, friend. If you don't work, we're not alive. Let's see, what is the best way to do this? I think I just need the card, so I think it's better to Cryptic. Yeah, I think I just need the card too badly. Ooh, that part worked. That's impressive. I am not optimistic that this will work. Okay, I have no idea what's going on. I think I'm gonna let my opponent go to their upkeep. I'm just gonna kill this now. I don't know what they could have that they wouldn't have fought over on their turn, but I guess Spell Pierce again, but shucks, who knows? Corey, are you playing Grixis in San Antonio, or do you always just jam Grixis games regardless of schedule? Dokumoy, my goal is to never play a non-Grixis deck at a Modern tournament. That is my lifelong goal. Whether or not that's feasible, that's another question. Hopefully that answers your question. Alright, well, we're going to need to find another Snapcaster Mage, because we're dead on the board to this Colonnade. Don't want to mill my opponent, because they have Think Twice in their deck. All of our Cryptics are gone. That's a basic mountain. Alright, well, we didn't play this game well, so we didn't deserve to win, so there's that. Also, I'm pretty sure that if they Ghost Quarter this, I just don't have a land to fetch, because I think I loaded a wrong version of this deck that just doesn't have, yeah, just for some reason don't have another basic. That's funny. Alright, so yeah, apparently we're playing a wrong version of the deck that has some land instead of an island. I don't know what it is, but we'll figure it out someday. Alright. I wonder what land is in my deck that's not supposed to be in my deck. Alright, well I guess we'll go figure it out right now. What are we playing that we're not supposed to be playing? Oh, we're playing a second Flooded Strand. That's pretty dumb. That's not very smart. Shrug. Alright, I like the one Anger, given they have Geist. They also showed us Kitchen Finks was still there. 2 Terminate. It's possible we want the third. What would we cut for the third? Yeah, let's go to... Yeah, Cryptic actually seems good against all their nonsense. I think we can actually just win Counter Wars. We're on the play. Just lost your deck. I never get good draws in the Control Mirror. Moondrias, were you also playing Grixis Control? What if it's a draft tournament and Grixis color's already gobbled up? In draft, I mean, it's a different story. Alright, this hand's truly horrendous. Can't keep that. This hand's fine. We'll keep this hand. Unfortunately, our scry's gonna be pretty wasted here. We're just gonna fetch a Watery Grave and suspend Ancestral, but we're gonna want to find lands pretty badly. Do you think something like Disallow would be played in Grixis? Thunderfister, I highly doubt it. 3 mana counters are just not even close to a thing in Modern. I mean, the 2-mana counters I already think are, like, among the worst cards in your deck, so I just could not imagine wanting to play a 3-mana counter. Also, just, like, the Trick Bind ability on it is just not very good. Been live for 45 minutes? Goodness gracious. Alright, I gotta play faster. I did not realize I'm wasting so much time. Oh, you're playing Esper Control? Esper Control's sweet. That was a good draw. Alright, Serum Visions. Hopefully find a Tasigur off of this. Cryptic and K Command. No, I prefer those spells be in my deck, and I'd also rather find more lands. Other Serum Visions is fine. Blood Crypt, I wish you were a blue land now, you silly thing. What's going on over here? What is going on over here? This is happening again. The double basics in our silly Fulminator Mage. Come on, Fulminator Mage, we expect more out of you, friend. Alright, neither of these are lands either. This is bad. Really bad. Not great. Thankfully we do have this Ancestral coming off suspend in a couple turns, but like I said, usually the control mirror comes down to first person to miss a land drop, and we are currently that person right now. Probably gonna be the Geist Saint Draft. So our opponent kept a hand that didn't do anything until 3. Oops, Kitchen Finks based on how they're tapping mana. That's fine. Hopefully we get to draw a land here. We can Fulminator Mage. That's not a land. It's like pretty aggro to just fire off this Thought Scour. I think missing a land drop's just truly horrendous. Killed over 2 lands, that sucks. Alright, well, we're in a pretty bad spot. If Disallowed was Mana Leak with the Stifle ability, it would still be playable at UU, you think? So you're saying it's they have to pay 3, otherwise their ability's countered? Is that what you're asking, G-Kin? Goodness gracious, how my opponent counters this. This puts me on a 5, puts me up to 9. Do I actually need these cards that badly? I feel like I might. Okay. Oops. Black and blue. Alright, let's hope this works. That worked out. Yeah, I would say that Classified is working out. Alright, let's see. What land do we want here? I think we just... Yeah, we have to get another Water Grave anyways. We don't have anything else. We have another Water Grave in our deck? We do. It's going to put us to 11. Not a great number. Tasker is going to have to carry us. Not likely to happen. So let's draw out of here. Thought Scour. And I guess we'll leave one of the Serums because I might actually Snapcaster one of those back in the worst case scenario. Oh my gosh, this is not going to get pathed. Okay, there we go. I was going to say. That's not okay, opponent. You have to have path there. We do need another island for Cryptics. Don't really need the other mountain unless I draw an Anger. Let's just get the islands. We've only got 4 cards left. We're not in, like, the worst of spots. We're in a bad spot. Ooh, target acquired. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Can block sack, kill that silly Colonnade. Draw me baddie. No, that's unfortunate. Alright. Let's try Thought Scour into a Dispel here. Fortunately, no dice. So we're at 8. We're gonna go to 1. 1's not a lot. 1's like pretty low. Missed a land drop, already played a swamp. This is like really bad. Like there are different degrees of bad, and this is like pretty high up there. Right. I think we're just gonna Thought Scour on instead. Hopefully my opponent will fight over it. Leaves up Snare in case for some unbeknownst reason to me they want to play Snapcaster on their main phase. They're not animating the Colonnade. That's probably really horrendous for me also. Makes me a little sad. Ooh, creepy Tarkpot. Nice, the Anger of the Gods is back. Just to laugh at me. This is funny. Funny, funny, funny. So what happens if I leave all mana to Snapcaster? I have nothing to Snapcaster. I still don't think I can survive 4 turns to this Ancestral, because I didn't think I could last turn. Can we actually beat here? Can I beat any spell? Like, any real spell? I could beat a Path to Exile? I might be able to beat a Path to Exile. My Mountain's also in the graveyard. This is really bad. Yes, I believe Jason the Mind Sculptor would be way too good. I don't know if that's a question that's going on. Pink Floyd, I just started streaming him for the first time in a long while. So we will find out when I stream regularly. It's a matter of me getting off my lazy ass and being a real human being. And I'm pretty bad at that, we found out. So hopefully I'll be back at it, and I will try to use less bad words. So hopefully I didn't use too many curse words in saying that. I try to be a reasonable human being on my stream. Alright, I guess we're suspending this Ancestral because I'm not doing anything else with that mana. It's not like I'm going to flash in a Snapcaster Mage. I mean, you could flash in a Snapcaster Mage there for some reason to block the Kitchen Finks if this Fulminator for some reason dies, but I just don't think you're winning on that world. Is it Sphinx's Rev? A Teferi? What in God's name? Good thing we brought in that third, whatchamacallit? Terminate. Good thing I don't have another red land in play. Can I not activate abilities either? Okay. I can. Just making sure. This doesn't fly, right? It just says flash. Alright, block you. Blow up you. Alright, if anybody in the chat wants to call it a good draw, this would be a good time to, you know, ask for a terminate, maybe. I don't think I deserve it, but I'll take it. Alright, do you guys do anything? We can Snapcaster a Serum Visions to try and find a terminate. So I should fetch a Steam Vents first, going to 1. So let's do that. Haven't seen him since Classic. Yeah, that guy's a little bit older than me, I bet. Alright, Serum Visions. Good thing we left you in the graveyard from, you know, half hour ago when we tried to play remotely close to correctly. K-Command, you're not good enough. K-Command, you are not good enough. Alright, so we have to flash in the other Snapcaster here. And let's Serum Visions again. Again, we have to do this all main phase because the Teferi prevents us from playing at flash speed. These are dead cards that we literally cannot play. Alright, dead to lots of things. Sorry, I'm in a different chair than normal also. The cat was like not pleased that I tried to steal his chair. Max was just like meowing at me like pretty angrily. Cruel Ultimatum plus Freeland. WW grade, that would have been a winning play. Alright, we're done. Fortunately, missed some land drops. I don't think we played game 2 well. I think we could have won game 2 if we'd played better. That's on me. Sorry, everybody. There was a turn where I should have attacked my Creeping Tar Pit, so my opponent missed a couple land drops there in the middle of the game. Given they had missed a couple land drops in the middle of the game, if I get them to Ghost Quarter instead of flashing in a Restoration Angel with lands on the backup, it stifles their mana development and actually their ability to like fight over things. I don't think they would have Ghost Quartered my Tar Pit, but I mean, you have to give your opponent the ability to make the mistake, and I wasn't doing anything with that mana, so that's on me. Mantic. Wait, how old are you? Are you like 28? Have we been over this before? Alright, another great hand. Unfortunately, gonna take a bajillion damage from lands. Fetch cycle in this hand would usually be Steam Vents, basic Swamp, tapped Watery Grave. But we'll see how this game plays out. It's very possible we need to adapt. Bloodstain Mire. Basic Swamp, huh? Alright, I have no idea what this is. But we don't have an Ancestral Visions anymore, so shucks. Now we can just fetch probably a Water Grave, but will depend on what we draw with this Scalding Tarn. I guess it's actually still better to go Steam Vents, because I'm much more likely to want a Basic Swamp than I'm a Basic Mountain against Basic Swamp of a Bloodstain Mire, as this is somewhat likely to be Jund. But it could also be Death Shadow, could in theory be 8 Rack that for some reason plays fetched lands. It seems unlikely to me. Maybe we'll just draw another Ancestral Visions. Or another Scalding Tarn. That works too. Alright, let's go to 17. Get the second card in our graveyard. Serum Visions is the third. Steam Vents. There you are, friend. I would like to pay 2 life for you. Basic Island. Thought Scour, Serum Visions. So we definitely want the Thought Scour. Don't really need the Serum Visions, as it's just going to get milled over, and it's a card we'd probably prefer in our deck in the late game, so we'll leave it in our deck. If our opponent plays a Dark Confidant here, obviously we'll have to interact with that. And when they don't, that's good for us. So now it's a matter of, do we want to run up the Tasker and potential Liliana mana? So now we have verified that they are Jund. I don't particularly want to. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to interact with a Liliana itself. But I think just giving up my Tassiger is a lot worse than potentially getting value on it on a later street. So I'm just going to play the Polluted Delta, ship back the turn here. Alright, sweet. They did the Liliana, so we would have gotten blown out. In this facet, we didn't get blown out. We just need to find a Snapcaster Mage, get ourselves back into it. Get rid of the Scalding Tarn, don't really need it. They discarded a Tarmogoyf because they know about our Terminate, that makes sense. So let's get us a Watery Grave, and then we will Thought Scour ourselves. Reason to do this first is we don't want to mill over additional copy, like both the copies of Watery Grave, and accidentally just like lose the game on the spot, as that's like a pretty stupid way to just kill yourself. Alright, in this spot, our opponent could possibly deploy 2 Threats and Lily minus on a Tasker. We have 8 cards in our graveyard. Scalding Tarn gets us to 9, we exile 5, that goes us down to 4, and the copy of... Oh, that's interesting, because we drew the other Watery Grave, so we'd have to get the Blood Crypt, and we milled the Blood Crypt. That's comedy, so we actually outed ourselves to that possibility. Alright, then the plan is going to be, I think I'm going to shock myself, play one of these Tassigers to try to force this Liliana out. Not great. We milled over the Blood Crypt, but that happens sometimes. I'm going to leave the Spell Snare, as that is a potential card I'd like to Snapcaster back, given that I'm leaving a situational card. I'm going to also leave a Serum Visions in the graveyard. Again, it's not often that you hit the Serum Visions, but leaving that open is always nice. Thanks, Marduk. Appreciate it. Alright, Tasker, you're dead. Get out of here. Little does the opponent know. Lunaria, no. Sprouting Thorax is long since past its days. We're getting Hunt Mastered? Oh, Jesus. Vomit. Alright, that's bad. Usually they only play one of those, so it's not the worst ever, but... 12. Hello, Snappy Doo. The problem is I can't just main phase the Snapcaster because they can, or like main phase the Snapcaster plus the Tassiger in some world. A, because I don't have enough cards in my graveyard, because again we wanted ourselves on the Scalding Tarn, and 2, because they can just minus the Chandra on the Snapcaster and then minus the Liliana targeting us. Fortunately, we're not resistant to bolts. Trying to think if there's any possible way it's correct to just hold up, and it doesn't look like it. So I'm going to end up playing this basic island, looking to discard the Scalding Tarn. And just playing this Tasigur out for x equals 2. Should exile my whole graveyard. So I think I'm actually in a better spot. I should just fetch to their basic island. So let's do that. So again, I would rather leave likely the Spell Snare in my graveyard. Trying to think if the Serum Visions will actually ever do me anything in this spot. I don't think it can. Nope. Alright. Yeah, Lunaria. Sometimes you get blown out. It happens. Them's the beats. Add red to my pool. That's probably not a good sign for me. Could get Death Clouded or something awful. Hopefully opponent activates Chandra first. Yeah, it would help. I can't get in your chat. Why can't you get in my chat, friend? Apparently one of my buddies says he's trying to watch the stream but can't see the chat. Alright, so what happened here? They made red mana and their Kolaghan's commanding that and making me discarding a card. So I'm getting lightning bolted on the other half of this. That's pretty poor for me. Alright, well, we're probably not winning this game, so there's that. There's the lightning bolt. Yeah, this game's all sort of bad. It's going to be a Tarmogoyf. Yep. You're going to discard a card. Yep. I'll discard my Terminate so that I can just play my silly Snapcaster. I'll Snapcaster back the Terminate, and we'll just have a hunky-dory awful time as I'm just getting dumpster fired here. Fortunately, I'm going to have to discard this lightning bolt now. This sucks. Everything sucks. I think we played this game fine. I don't think there's really any other decisions to make. But I guess the only other decision we could have made was playing the Tasker on turn 3. I definitely would have done that. Alright, Jerry, I don't know what's going on there, homie. I feel for you. Hopefully you can feel for me, because I'm just getting dumpster fired here by this Jund player. It's about to Alta Chandra. They could activate a Raging Ravine if they draw another land. Basically, we have no outs. Alright, we're done here. We're done here. You did it, Jund player. You killed us. Thoughts on Chandra as a Jund 4-drop? I think it's the best 4-drop you can play. I just, plain and simply, I believe it's the best 4 you can possibly be playing. I think she's great. Alright, so against Jund, bringing the extra Fatal Push as it answers basically all their creatures. Gonna shave 2 bolts, bring in all the negate effects, cut the EE, and, well, look at that. We're at the right amount of cards. We're so lucky. Alright, so cutting down to 2 bolts, main reason for that is they're really only usually good at killing Dark Confidants, and early scavenging is you do want a copy of it, though, to answer like a Raging Ravine, and it's really important to fight their Planeswalkers with it. Fatal Push, as I said before, just basically kills all their creatures. Terminate, same idea, just a little less efficient in the matchup. Spell Snare, great, fighting over their 2-mana spells. Counter Squall's Negate, fighting over their Planeswalkers. And then you leave in all the card advantage nonsense. You don't want Damnation, as we've seen our opponent showed us a 4-mana Planeswalker, so I don't think we want to move to Damnation just yet, and they did show us a 4-mana Planeswalker, so I'd rather have the second copy of Bolt, but Damnation is usually a card that I would bring in this matchup blind. But given that we know one of our opponent's 4s is, rather than a Huntmaster of the Fells, is a Chandra, I'm more likely to want a second Bolt than I'm a Damnation. Thrun is criminally underplayed at this point. I think it's still a really strong card, but given that we saw a Chandra, I think it's less likely our opponent has Thrun. Also, it's not impossible. Man, now we have no black mana? Zach, what are you doing to me? What are you doing? And we have 2 Spell Snares, so our hands just face up, too. Kind of brutal. Alright, I'm going to keep this hand. I think it's pretty bad. Fine. Shock Selves, Steam Bounce, and Ship Turn. Lordy. Alright, probably going to get Thoughtseize here. Going to lose one of our Thought Scours. There's no reason to Thought Scour ourselves in response to give our opponent more information. I would just assume that our opponent's taking one of our Thought Scours. Again, because the Spell Snares just turn our hand face up. It actually, I think, plays better for our opponent. Unfortunately, milled over a Tasker there. That makes me a little sad. Alright, Eludra Swamp, so that's above average, thankfully. Not sure showing the opponent the swamp does anything. I'd rather have 2 blue open. Again, it's unfortunate the Spell Snares. Like, they see both of them as just really rough, because they're just not going to play into them. They just don't really have an incentive to actually cast any spells. Pretty crappy spot to be in all honesty. Kolaghan's Mana, that's a great draw. That was kind of card we needed to hit. That was fantastic. So if our opponent goes for a Liliana here, we can potentially shock them and buy back our Tasigur, and then we have a Tasigur with Spell Snare up to try to fight through the Liliana. Each player discards, so I'm definitely discarding a Spell Snare because you know about 500 of them. They discarded a Terminate. Yeah, I think it's really bad for me to do anything but shock their Lily and buy back my Tasigur. Trying to think, there's literally any other line I can come up with. Like, I can make them discard and I can buy back a Tasker. That's also just not great, because I just don't have a Snapcaster Mage to actually, like, shut the door on this nonsense. Yeah. Alright. And shock you. I would love to deal 2 damage to Liliana the Veil. She's very rude. My hand's not been panning out, and I would like her to not be there anymore. Cryptic, don't have the ability to cast. Do we want to hold our mountain? Trying to figure out if our opponent pluses their Liliana this turn. Like, let's imagine a scenario where they, like, play a Kitchen Finks out, as that's, like, a reasonable card they could have. And then they plus their Liliana. What card do we really want to discard? Options are Cryptic Command, Mountain, Spell Snare. The Spell Snare's, like, kind of medium, because they've already discarded a Terminate, and that's one of the best cards you can possibly counter if they're not holding on to extra creatures. They don't, however, know about this Terminate. I think they'll most likely discard Mountain. If it was an island, I would play out the island, of course. Given that I have so many spells here, I'm just gonna exile some of that like that. I have 6. Pink Floyd, the big advantages of Grixis control over Delver is that you're not susceptible. Might wanna get to keep the bolt. I think I missed. Oh, I'm sorry. That's from a previous game. Goodness gracious, I'm sorry. I'm behind on chat. Yeah, but you're not weak to main deck removal, as by the time that you're casting creatures, you're usually pretty happy. Jesus Christ, Justin. You're usually pretty happy if people are firing off removal spells at your creatures, as usually your creatures don't really matter. Like, here I'm pretty all in on this Tasigur, and I'll be pretty... Oh, goodness gracious, they just have infinite Lilianas. They're just going to play another Lily. Oh, Maelstrom Pulse. That sucks. Well, crap. The other thing is I just don't think Delver's a good card. So there's that. Like, I think the overall deck is fine. I think Young Pyromancer is honestly the reason to play a Grixis Delver Shell. Do I imagine casting 2 spells this turn? No. Get out of here, Spell Snare. Opponent's already shown a propensity to play around you. I assume they're going to discard a 2-mana spell. And they did. Fulminator Amaj. Sure. If you said this game was going badly, you'd be correct. Nice. Nice. Alright, we're getting whacked, friends. Just utterly whacked. There's a Huntmaster. Kill that guy. I don't even know if they plus through Liliana. I assume they're not going to, though, unless they play a land drop here. Yeah, they didn't even use their Lily. This is not very good. Not very good indeed. Yeah, we're sort of in this awful spot where we need to just fight over all of our opponent's cards and just don't have the ability to do so. I'm not going to fire off a Cryptic there, as I think I'm basically in a spot where I need to leverage a position where I could like bounce the Liliana, play a Tasigur, and counter squall on the way back down. But I think it's also very possible I just have to counter squall a Chandra here. Oh, a second Huntmaster. That's just freaking peachy. Oh crap. I was just like 4 flooded, so they're just like actually prepared for this matchup. Brutal. Brutal, brutal, brutal. Alright, that resolves. Brutal, brutal, brutal. Alright, kill your Huntmaster. For the record, I'd be shocked if WW Gray, no, it was never in the deck. It was never in the deck, nor was it considered. Each player discards a card. I will probably discard Cryptic Command and assume I have no way to win, so I'm going to discard Tasker. This card is Stomping Ground instead of playing it. Interesting. Oh, do I have to crack my Scalding Tarn? I really don't want to. I really, really, really don't want to. I just want to draw Snapcaster. Alright, yeah, we have to crack this. Let's get a Watery Grave. Alright, well, we're dead now. I don't think we can possibly come back from this scenario. Of note for people looking at that list, it is wrong. We have 1 too many flooded strands and 1 too few basic islands. But SMI, thank you for being on it and having the deck list. You're the best. Brian, welcome. I'm sorry that you're watching us just getting utterly annihilated in every facet humanly possible, but welcome. How is everyone doing tonight, out of curiosity? I mean, it is a Friday, so I'm actually surprised. You know, Modern Masters 2017 just released. I figured that, you know, I might get a little bit of shaft there, not have a bunch of people hang out, but... Alright, we're dead here. We just, unfortunately, did not do enough in the early turns, and the hand was probably just too bad. I probably needed a mulligan in the hand. Opponent had a really good configuration for the Grixis matchup. They had at least 3 4s in their deck, and that's usually where you want to be. The 4s are the really tricky cards to deal with, because they're usually worth 2 to 2.5 cards. What's up, Elspeth? How you doing? Got your little pretty Switch Prime crown. Oh yeah, Brian, that's the plan. I mean, whatever. If we lose, we lose. Whatever. Just play another game. These are definitely good points. Personally, I've always thought Delver had too much variance. Scary play was turn 2 Tasigur. Yeah, I mean, that's part of the reason Pink Floyd, why I actually like the Grixis control deck, is if you can line up your threat, or your answers properly to their threats, you can just play a better game, and like a better raw game than Grixis Delvers, because there are some cards that are just truly heinous in your deck, like 1 mana 1/1, 2 mana 1/2, or 2 mana 2/1, excuse me. But then you still just also have the potential of, oops, I turn 2 Tasigur you, you're dead. Oh, that sucks. Digitech Wire. What's your paper on, though? Final paper for what? I assume some sort of college or university course. What's up, Brennan? How goes, man? Yeah. Some days are good, some days are not good, and right now we're getting our, you know, our proverbial butts just actually kicked up and down the field, but Life's good. Can't complain. I mean, I could complain, but it would just be stupid. That's my usual saying, but it's true. It would be tough to complain about my life and have any sort of realistic thoughts on what's going on in the world, so. No, life's great, man. How you doing? 4-0 with goblins? You're crushing it. Crushing it. Alright, what are we doing here? Probably just playing a tap land, and then we'll hopefully get to shock ourselves, deal with some sort of nonsense. Oh, what in the world is this? Green-black Eldrazzos? I hope I draw Terminate. I hope I have a plan. Okay, so it's been a while since I played against green-black Eldrazzos. Hell yeah, that's awesome, Brennan. Congrats on qualifying for the Pro Tour, by the way. Miri, I do. I am the rules manager on the game, so I work really closely with a bunch of the people in the engineering team. If you ever want to check it out, feel free to hit me up on Facebook or Twitter. I'd love to talk shop with you more about getting you into it. I think it's really fun. Obviously, I'm biased because I work on it. The game's great. Yeah, some days you don't play very well. I don't believe I played very well in Vancouver, and I don't think I'm playing very well tonight, but I'm definitely having fun. So there is a positive there. It's a sci-fi novel called The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. Sweet, I'll have to check it out. I love sci-fi movies, sci-fi fantasy, anything in that regard. I'm always on it. What's up, Molly? How you doing? Why aren't you... Molly, you need to be modded. At this point, just my entire chat's going to be modded. It's just going to be the worst. Alright. GM Killer, if you're in the chat, I apologize for being so slow. I'm not trying to look up your deck list or any nonsense. I could care less. I just don't know what to do. And I was trying to delay the action as long as possible. I think I'm going to go ahead and Thought Scour myself. And then shock myself in Serum Visions. Ooh, Meldover Snapcaster Mage. That is lucky. Hey, there's the Tasker I wanted. Don't want another Cryptic. I prefer the Cryptic in my deck. 4, I go to 5 cards off cracking my fetch. My Thought Scour is 8. I get to play a tap land next turn instead. I get to leave out Bolt or I get to Serum. So I can actually Serum that Cryptic in my hand and leave 2 cards on top that I want to mill over. No, I can't do that because I'm in the Thought Scour. The Cryptic should be great in this matchup, though, so I do probably want to put it in my graveyard. It's also just the best card in my hand, so there's that. So it's like likely to get taken by Thought-Knots here this turn. Alright. Do your worst. Reassuring a potential ghost, and I'm not. I mean, looking at their deck list isn't any wrongdoing. Wait, they're Eldrazi with Tarmogoyfs? Dear God, my play was bad. Alright, this is amusing. Alright, so can I Lightning Bolt this? So I could actually Lightning Bolt this, exile a bunch of cards, and kill it. I would actually lose access to my Snapcaster Mage. I think that's fine. Then I have a Tasker versus whatever their nonsense is. Seems legit to me. Seems legit to me. Alright, bolt that. Exile all of my graveyards. Creepy Tar Pit. And everybody in the chat, we should thank Huey Jensen for making sure to call me out on coverage when I screwed that play up once, and I'll never screw it up ever again. Spawn, I've seen you troll Caleb in his chat before, it's great. Ooh, a 1-2 Tarmogoyf this time. Yeah, we're much better at dealing with those. Alright, I think our opponent's like pretty locked out of the game at this point, as I've got a Tassiger that I can activate on every end step. Green-black removal's not great at dealing with Tassiger, and I've got double Cryptic Command open. It would be difficult for me to believe a scenario in which our opponent really gets out of the danger zone here. Of note, by cracking this line, these do become 2/3. Oh, Cavernous Souls. Goodness gracious, that's bad. Alright, well, strike my previous comment from the record where we're in a great spot. We're in a good spot. It was great. Seems to be happening pretty frequently tonight. We got another Tasker. Not great. at least we're immune to Dismember now. Ooh, island. I like islands. Let's see. Sorcery makes those silly things 3/4. There's already a creature. Sure. Polluted Delta Snapcaster. Don't need this Thought Scour. I will certainly take the Snapcaster, of course. Not going to activate Tasker now, given that there's a Snapcaster on top. Just need to set up a good racing situation. I think we're pretty close to it here. Let's see. Tap their team, attack with Tassiger. Next turn, flash in Snapcaster Mage, tap their team. That's 16. The next turn's 10. Tap their team. I can currently get them to 1. By tapping their team, attacking with Tassiger on the next turn. Rhino? They have Siege Rhino in their deck? That's gotta be a bluff. I refuse to believe that there's actually a Rhino in my opponent's deck. Alright, that's what I thought. Get your Rhino crap out of here, you silly person. Oh, opponent, don't main phase it. Don't. No. Come on. Come on. Expect better than that, please. You gotta attack and then use it. Oh, man. Brutal. Alright, whatever. Tap all my opponent's creatures and I'll draw a card. The opponent there, what they want to do is they should attack with all their creatures, because I'm not going to have something that's going to stifle their Eldrazi Displacer ability. So they want to prevent me from Cryptic Tapping their team there. Obviously, I don't need to use Cryptic Tap their team there, but there's no way they can have another card in their hand that was going to do anything. I really need to find a Lightning Bolt or a Terminate or something in that vein here. Note these Tarmogoyfs are a millions now also, so that's also just not fantastic. Alright, let's Thought Scour ourselves. Again, I don't like making these silly Tassiger, or Tarmogoyf, excuse me, any bigger. Oh, there we go. Hello, Lightning Bolt. How we missed thee. Yeah, let's go ahead and kill your friend. Should have played my Soulful Falls first, but it doesn't really matter. And now we can line up a spot where we go block a Tarmogoyf with Tassiger, Snapcaster, Bolt on another copy. Breaking news, 4/5s are millions now. That is a fact. That is just a fact of life. What is this, a Thought-Knots here? That sucks. That's stupid. What do I want to do now? Probably have to flash my Snapcaster Mage and target Thought Scour. Just so I can threaten trading for a Tarmogoyf. I mean, what's the other line? They take my Snapcaster Mage. In that world, they take my Cryptic. And then on future streets, I get to block a Tark, but also... Yeah. Yes, it's fine. I think it's just so much better to have the Snapcaster on the battlefield so they can't like profitably attack this turn. It also is, like, allows us to backdoor into another Lightning Bolt if we want to make a risky play. I'm just not liking Bant Eldrazi. But I think the deck's fine. Like, I'm not Oliver or Owen, who's just like super negative, like 24 about it on 724 on 24/7 on Twitter. EEX equals 0. Okay. I'm really confused. What does that do? Alright, I don't know what that's for, but there's an EE on 0. I think the deck's fine. Like, I think it's a powerful deck when it does its thing. Oh, is there not an artifact in the graveyard? That's what that does. That's fair. They get to kill the Tassiger, but I have another Tassiger in my hand, so why would that be good? I'm confused. Doesn't that just end up good for me? I don't really understand this, but... Shrug. Like, they know I have a Tasker in my hand. They literally just saw it. Right, so they're just going to kill Snapcaster. Like, this is so silly. I just don't understand. 724 is the new Snap Bolt Snap. Oh, God. Oh, God. What have I done? Okay, those are 5/6s. I'm missing something here. I don't see it. Okay. I really don't understand what just happened there. Drew a Blood Crypt, milled over a Cryptic, not great. Hey, there's the Terminate. There is the Terminate. So we have 4 additional mana up, so we can just play this Blood Crypt tapped. Ship turn back to our opponent. We can terminate the silly Tarmogoyf. If our opponent for some reason decides that, okay, I can start making aggressive attacks, try to put my opponent to 1 to turn off the Polluted Delta that they know is in my hand, that's the reason to not terminate here on our turn. Sure, they could draw some sort of regeneration effect, but I have no idea what that'd be. Thanks, man, I appreciate it. I just don't really see a reason to be negative. I've been a really negative person a lot of my life, so just don't actually see a need to be that way as I've grown older. And this is the exact reason you don't do the Terminate on your turn, because you can get your opponent to make attacks like this, because they know they have that Polluted Delta, they want to turn it off. So this actually just opened up a spot for my opponent to make a mistake. We got them to make a mistake. This is a big thing about playing control decks. And we probably just bought ourselves a lot of time with that play. So that was pretty huge. For the record, even if my opponent wanted to turn off my Polluted Delta there, I just would not recommend making that play. So I think my opponent got needlessly aggressive there. Again, they could have something that I don't know about. Maybe they literally do have a Siege Rhino in their deck and this Rhino's real. Maybe my opponent's trolling and knows Riley the Rhino is hanging out in our background, but if you are bad at it, this deck is terrible. I fully agree. Whoever was asking, is this deck good? How is Bantle Eldrazi? The question with Bantle Eldrazi is, how good are you drawing temples? I mean, Molly, that is part of it, man. I mean, it's good against the blue decks. I think that overall it's like probably a flip matchup when I've played against it overall, but I think a lot of that has to do with most Bantle Eldrazi players don't know how to play against Grixis well, and that's not on them. I just don't think there are many people that are dedicated to playing Grixis. Obviously, I've dedicated thousands of hours to playing this deck, so I would hope that I can honestly say to you guys that yes, I'm a good Grixis control pilot. So I mean, I don't fault Bant Eldrazi players when I think that they make mistakes against me or they take lines that I don't understand. Because I mean, the games are hard. There's so many decisions, and if you ever make a mistake, it just snowballs so much because the cards are all so powerful. All right, so my opponent's determined that this Mana Reshaper is worse than a random card off the top of their library, and they're at 8 mana towards an Ulamog. All right, I'll block, because I'm not going to 3. That seems really silly. I don't know what I'm hoping for them to flip, though. Path to Exile is probably not rooting for that card. Probably not that one. But if they want to path my Tasker, I'll accept. Given they played Brushland, I do think that they could legitimately have Rhino in their deck now. Do I have a land I want to fetch? Five? Is there any difference between 5 and 6? No. There's a difference between 4 and 3. There's a difference between 7 and 6. Again, because of Siege Rhino. Alright, one other Watery Grave. Let's get that. No, I do not want to shock myself. That sounds really terrifying. I assume our opponent's just going to give us the Serum Visions here so far. Well, now they're going to give us the third Tasker. That's a rough mill over. Let's pull up our Exile piles. We got some cards on layaway. Another not so great draw, but that's fine. Access to 8 mana. We can Creepy Tar Pit to get them to Ghost Quarter. I think given that I'm like somewhat fearful that they could have a backdoor out to... Gosh, sorry. To an Ulamog, I'm going to go ahead and try to get them to Ghost Quarter here. Again, none of the cards in our hand really do anything either, so... You know, if they want to path this silly Creeping Tar Pit, by all means, you know. I want to get on Tasker. I really don't, just because out of getting Reality Smashered, so... Again, I don't really have an incentive structure to end the game quickly, because I've got these Ancestral cards on layaway. Alright, apparently I've milled over all my lands. That's good to pay attention to. I'm glad I'm paying attention today. Alright, less stoked with my play. I thought I was getting a land when that got Gauss quartered. I'm also now in a horrible spot where the path kills me. Okay. This not having another basic has been, like, really horrendous. And you're seeing why you're supposed to play 5 basics. Oh, this is funny. Matter Shaper. Shaper. Alright, so the last card's a path. Puts us down to 21 cards in our library when we activate this. Not likely we're going to deck out this game, because we just need to find a Kolaghan's Command or a Snapcaster Mage to win, but something to pay attention to. I'd expect our opponent to give us Fatal Push here. Fatal Push is pretty horrendous in this matchup, and I think we've run out of fetchable lands for the most part. Alright. Ticks down. Ooh, Terminate, that's a good one. Ooh, nice. Are we going to get to discard to hand size on turn 10? The good old discard to hand size on turn 10? No, I think in reality we're just going to probably play out Explosives here for 3. Blue, black, and red. Not planning on using this anytime soon, but part of the reason why I'm going to get it out there on 3, locks out the Resource Shapers, kills extra Displacers, I already have locks on cards on 2 with Snare. It also gives me a way to trigger Revolt if for some reason I absolutely deem that necessary. Interesting my opponent wouldn't fire off a path there for 3 points of damage, but what'd they get? They got a Thought, not Seer. Alright, well that is something that I will terminate with the trigger on the stack. So I'd much rather have my Terminate in the graveyard than I would in my hand. Another possible outcome, let's see. Nope, would rather have my Terminate in the graveyard. I was thinking I could just fire off my E here to trigger Fatal Push Revolt, but the problem is none of the cards in my hand do anything. So we'll just kill this and hopefully not draw Snapcaster Mage or Kolaghan's Command off of it. And if we do, such is life. Alright, so now I expect them to take a Lightning Bolt, as 2 Lightning Bolts takes out a Reality Smasher. And again, it's fine for me to 4-for-1 myself for a Smasher, because none of the cards in my hand do anything. Just literally none of them have any text. Took a Lightning Bolt, sure. Do you want to path my Tasigur? Another Matter Reshaper, sure. That is fine. Alright, one more turn until we get some Ancestral cards. Hopefully we can draw a Snapcaster in the game. We don't. I believe we have a couple fetchable lands left. We do. We have a Water Grave and a Steam Vents. So we'll get that out there. That alone turns on the Fatal Push. Again, still dead if our opponent just draws a Reality Smasher. I guess we're not. We can block a Creepy Tar Pit. Creepy Tar Pit, as usual, doing, as they say, God's work. Alright, let's see. Path to Exile, what'd you mill over this time? Siege Rhino. Holy moly, they do have Siege Rhinos. So much for my belief of, yeah, my opponent can't possibly have Rhino. Welcome to Modern. You can put whatever card you want to in your deck. Alright, puts me to 2. I'm going to fetch myself down to 1, as 1 shouldn't be any different than 2, but heck, we've seen sillier things so far tonight. This will allow us to push this guy out of the way. And hopefully start turning the corner here. It's possible we're supposed to be attacking earlier, but alright, there we go. Kolaghan's Command. Kolaghan's Command and all the Snapcasters in the world. So, plan here is we're going to attack. Hopefully our opponent will finally fire for path, but I don't expect them to. Alright, they deem it not necessary. We have access to 8 mana here. Given that we have access to 8 mana, let's go ahead and return a Snapcaster to our hand, make them discard. Basically, I'm just going to put them on the clock of whatever the last card you keep in your hand is, has to be great. Alright, so they're keeping the pass. They can still path this Tasker when we Snapcaster it. So, is there any incentive here to fire off to get the path out of their hand now. So there's not against that. Not against that either. So the answer I'm coming up with is no. So I just want to fire off the Snapcaster now and end step. So cards I don't want. I don't really want the Thought Scour given I have 13 cards remaining in my library, and I certainly don't need the Spell Snare. If my opponent discarded the Path to Exile there, we get to make a move where it's very clear that their other card in their hand is something powerful. Obviously in this line that we're taking, we lose to Senior Rhino off the top, but we're going to lose to Senior Rhino off the top any given way. See, somebody said something in chat, and we'll get to it in a second. I'm sorry. What's up, Dokkamoy? Long time no see. Alright, Kolaghan's Command. Oh, they have double path now? You can't double path, you only have one white. Wait, that was not the Art of Path to Exile I remember seeing. Oh, it was. Weird. Alright, I think we determined I have no lands I can fetch left, so no, I would not like to search. Target player discards card and deal 2 damage to them. Yep. Get out of here. This might be another situation where we need to decide in surgicals to see the opponent's back. Yeah, we should probably do that more often. The stream does appreciate that. Okay, so they did draw a second path. Alright, we have one Kolaghan's Command left. I don't want to suspend this Ancestral. I have access to 8 lands again. So we attack, put our opponent down to 12. We can bolt. We can bolt them, Snapcaster in the upkeep, and then at the draw step, make them discard so they're dead. Okay, so F6, attack you with Tasigur, go to your turn, and your upkeep. Play Mr. Friend. Target K command. Hopefully you don't hit Lingering Souls or something absurdly silly that I couldn't think of happening. Make you discard, shock you. And the creepy Tar Pit. I don't think I tapped it for black. I'm failing at playing Magic. Daedra Forest. Bolt you. F6. Animate the creepy Tar Pit. F6 attacks. Alright, there we go. I guess Carolina Rhino was sort of a tell. Yeah, Andretti, I mean, I said I just didn't believe it, but there it was. So there was that. And one of course first streams he played against some sort of odd mono green deck, and the chat's been forever trying to convince it to put it surgically, but it was awful. Yeah, so Brendan, the thing that goes on in the chat is the chat convinced me. I will not say that it was a good idea. They convinced me that it was okay to bring it to Surgical Extraction so they could see their deck list. I did it, and we saw their deck list, and lo and behold, now it's a thing. Everyone just always wants to see the opponent's deck list. So the opponent has, you know, the good old Brushland, Cavern of Souls, basic Swamp mana base, so they have a Rhino on their deck. People just want to know what's up. I can appreciate it. It's hilarious. I think it's really funny. But yeah, that's what's happening here. Alright, so let's see what's bad here. The snares are weird. They have Tarmogoyfs. I'd rather just have a Fatal Push, so we'll just bring in a Fatal Push in that spot, as we can also kick it to potentially clobber out some Thought-Knot Seers. I'm trying to think if we want any of these other cards. They could, in theory, have Lingering Soul. Seems pretty unlikely to me. There's no real great black sideboard cards against us. They could just bring in a bunch of Thoughtseizes, whatever. So are we going to Surgical the Rhino? No, Riley's great. Riley's going to hang out on the chair, or the pillow, whatever he's on right now. You can't be a streamer and not have a stream yet, and ours is Escalate. I thought it was Bolt Snap, or Snap Bolt Snap. They're bringing in Spider Spawning? Holy moly. Alright, they can bring in Spider Spawning and they just win. They just did it. We're going to cut a Bolt. Bolts are pretty bad in this matchup. Usually shave more Bolts than this. I'm also playing just a bad sideboard where I just don't have enough sideboard cards. I can bring in Anger. Yeah, Bolt's fine. Whatever. Whatever, chat. Whatever. I think Gabby has more than one at this point. Yeah, Molly, I'm pretty sure Gabby has like 100. From every time I watch her stream, there's just some new thing that I learn every single time where people are just like giving her crap about something silly that happened. This hand's pretty poor. It does have double Ancestral. Alright, fine, I'll keep. Opponent has turn 0 Leyline? Alright, great. My hand's really horrendous. Alright. So Leyline's good for me, and then it makes all their Tarmogoyfs worse. It's bad for me, and then I have a 6-mana 4/5 in my hand with no text. Ooh, now I have two 6-mana 4/5s with no text. We're doing it. I also kept a 1-lander, so I kind of deserve it, but... Did have double Ancestral, which is just usually really good against the Eldrazi openings. Oh yes, play that 1/2 Tarmogoyf. Get me dead. Get me dead. Alright, I'm just gonna kill it. Uh-oh. Victory. That's a moral victory. Ooh, come on, land, 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 land. Yes! Ooh, and I get to keep a Terminate on the top of my library? This is great! Yeah, I actually don't want Snowcaster. There's Leyline of the Void on the battlefield. Alright, well, the Magic Gods have forsaken our opponent. Our opponent's running really horrendously. I don't feel bad. Oh man, they even drew the Colorless Source, so that's here. Alright, my hand's horrendous, opponent. What would you like? Oh, it's a Seed Rhino? That's kind of rude. Gosh, it's so many damages. It takes so many damages. Alright, well... Gosh, I can't even get a land and not take a million. Alright, whatever. Go to 11, kill your Rhino, your turn. I hope somebody in the chat is making fun of all the 1-landers I queue, because I do this a lot on stream. How can you turn down Ambush Viper? Yeah, sometimes I have bad decisions. What can I say? Ooh, God, that's bad. Alright, well... I was feeling lucky. Pretty sure it's me. Oh boy, that was bad. Holy crap, that was bad. Holy Lord, that was great. What if it's not even a red source? I can't even, like, line this up. I just randomly peel another basic, and it's not a blue source. I can't even, like, draw a land, Cryptic Tap their team a bunch. Holy moly, this is funny. Alright, I'm sorry. I found that really amusing, because it was just, like, one of the cards I wouldn't want to draw, and they were, like, Tassigers and more just nonsense spells. And then I just drew, like, Cryptic Cake, man, it was just great. Oh yeah, we're certainly whitelisted. Here we go, Terminate. Oh yeah. Alright, well, sometimes you keep two Ancestrals and don't win. Sometimes you don't win. Alright, put on his Leyline. I don't think I care. From what I've seen, I'm not changing any of the cards I've brought in either. That was amusing. Oh man, that was great. I mean, the cards are good. What could go wrong? Yeah, Digitech Wire. Like, what could we possibly do? All our cards were so good. Why would you ever mulligan? Alright, well, this hand actually does reach the point of a mulligan. This hand doesn't. This hand's a keep. I don't need another Singer Visions. Alright, let's see. Steam Vents, Watergrave. Land, sorcery, it would just be too big, so I'll just get a Watergrave. We're going to ship and do well. Oh my god, these hands. Eh, sometimes you run bad. Whatever. Not saying it's perfect. Alright, kick command, get out of here. Do we need another Fatal Push? Nope, would rather have more lands. Get out of here, Fatal Push. Ooh, we can get turn 1 Thoughtseized. That's brutal. Hopefully it's just an Ancient Strings. Brutal. Alright, at least our hand's really bad. If our opponent takes our Fatal Push, we'd be really sad, though. I should have shaved on the way home. I do this thing where I have an Electric Razor and I shave in my car, which I think is like kind of silly and kind of like dangerous. Alright, well, these bolts are really bad. But I finally reached the point in my life where I have to like shave daily, otherwise it bothers me. I just can't deal with hair on my face. It just drives me up the wall. And just didn't shave on the way home. It's just a big tilt. Shadow Vanguard. So I learned this trick. If you ask really nicely for a specific card, you're more likely to get it. Like, It sounds stupid, but it works. So we ask really nicely, hey Moto, I'd like to draw Sulphur Falls. We're probably going to draw Sulphur Falls next turn. Because it can hear us. It knows. I started shaving at 16. I don't think I started shaving until I was 17 or 18 probably. And I didn't have to start shaving every day until like a few months ago. Figured that was when I finally turned old. Alright, see, we didn't ask early enough. Swamp, Dirty, you're the worst. Don't do that to us. This is a true statement. Oh, Lord. You guys are great. Oh, God. Okay, if our opponent... Oh, yeah. Alright. You're getting got, son. You're getting got. We got 2 bolts in our hand. Let's race. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. And that turns on our Fatal Push. This is gas. Alright, come on. Colorlessly and Thought-Knots here. Colorlessly and Thought-Knots here. Not a Rhino. Not a Rhino. Don't do me like that. Please don't play Reality Smasher. Come on, don't do me like that. Fuck. Okay, that sucks. Ooh, they're racing. Alright, hold on. Alright, let's see. What can we do here? 12. We can put them to 10. 7, 4. That doesn't really do me much. Doesn't particularly do me much. I do need 2 turn cycles to cast all these bolts. I do need to just fetch anyways. Alright. But I don't want to fetch on tap because that actually deals me damage and removes the number of draw steps I actually get. Alright, here we go. Alright, that Terminate will do. Alright, this game is great. If we win this game, this is just stupid. Kolagonski, I don't need you. Polluted Delta, I certainly do need you. You're gonna be our savior. Alright, get you to 10. Alright, the backdoor burn you out plan. Calling for the card works on the opponent's deck too. No! Not like this. Why? Oh, it hurts. Oh, that hurts. Okay. That sucked. Do I have any other Steam Vents still in my library? I do, okay. So I'm not stone dead. But we do have no more Watery Graves. Oh no, they blew a Creepy Tar Pit earlier. Alright, yeah, bring it. Come on, race. Let's go. You're not allowed to play a Tarmogoyf. That's not legal. This is just a race. You can only race opponent. Upstairs. If they Blessed Alliance me, it would be so sad. Alright. Trying to think if there's any reason to not just fetch the basic swamp now. I just can't imagine an opponent having Shadow of Doubt or something silly. We're just dead to another Reality Smasher anyways. Like, I've just accepted that fate. Alright, here we go. Digitek, come on, don't do that. Don't do me like that. Alright, beginning of combat, let's fetch our swamp. Oh, I found a card that could get us. If they for some reason have Renegade Rallier, that would be impressive. Alright, get out of here, Fulminator Mage. God, if they Renegade or Rallier here, I'm just gonna be so sad. You could possibly double spell, that'd be brutal. No! No! Not cool. Not cool at all. Fetch up the other Watery Grave, I guess. Steam Vents. Man, that was not okay. Just not okay on so many levels. Alright, getting rid of Steam Vents to insulate myself again. Not cool, man. Alright, well, at least we got an out. We can draw a Snapcaster Mage or a Bolt if our opponent doesn't kill us this turn. But That was not cool. I tried so hard this game. I really did. I really tried as hard as I could to not screw it up at every turn. 1 is not equal to 0. That is correct. To get back standstill? Goodness gracious. Alright, there's that Thought-Knot Seer. Alright, here we go, baby. Come on. Snapcaster. 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 Alright, that works. That works. Let's see, what are the bad cards? Serums. Fulminator. Push. Yeah, every other card kills our opponent, so if we somehow draw another untap land. Alright. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No! No, don't do it! No! Swag Tusk! Come on, man. Brutal, dude. Rough beats. Rough life. Sure, the good old turn 9 Leyline of the Void. This is why I don't recommend Leyline of the Void in almost any scenario. And a Mana Ray Shaper, so they shouldn't attack this turn, given that they drew that. Well, this just allows me to draw another Tassiger now, right? Oh no, I'm just dead. Okay, then this play is actually probably great. I'm probably just really dumb. So what else do I have then? To draw a Terminate, to terminate a Thought-Knot Seer into a Lightning Bolt to Lightning Bolt the Thragtusk token. I think there's other ways to play around this. Nope. Okay. Brutal. Brutal. Couldn't win a match. Alright, well, some days you don't win much. Let's fix the deck, though. Because that was horrendous. That was funny. Funny. Yeah, of course I want to drop. That was just a dumpster fire, Moto. Why would you make me go through that? It hurts so much. Displace for Thragtusk is nice. Okay, Flooded Stream, get out of my deck. What are you doing? Basic land, Ash is land. Yeah, in that game it was really nice. Considering my plan was to, just go bigger, control them out. Sorry, that's usually the plan, but certainly was not doing it in that game. Okay, this looks more close to what I like. Let's make sure the sideboard's all good. 3 counter spells, there's the 4th, 1 Fatal Push, 1 Damnation. Alright, there we go, all back to normal. Have a 3rd island, hopefully that won't screw us again. Alright, but on a side note, let's crack some chests as we hang out and chit-chat. I think I cracked a bunch of them the other day when the chest tanked in value and everybody said the sky was falling. Oh, obviously it's not actually called a card chest because I'm just a donkey. Tickets, no. Sealed product, that's what we want. Alright, so we have learned in chat. The best is when you're playing hybrid mana cards in Cube, ask Moto to give you the basics, and then you open it with the planes in your draft deck with the Kitchen Finks. Yeah, I ran into that. It's probably my 3rd or 4th Cube draft on Moto. I was really new to Magic still, and I can't say that I fully understood how hybrid mana worked. And I think I had a Grixis deck where I opened up with... I want to say I opened up with multiple planes in my hand or something of that nature. There was something really weird going on, Gray. What are my thoughts on Negate versus Dissolve? So, Brendan, it's mostly just a mana efficiency thing. I mean, I think Dissolve's super powerful, and I was really surprised when I saw it printed. The reason I made it onto the Pro Tour the first time was Dissolve. Dissolve was just so silly. It was, counter spell, draw, probably 2/3 of a card. And I'll be really shocked if we ever see Dissolve come back. I think that's just a little too far over the line as far as, a counterspell goes. Certainly there were other things going on in that format where I assume the dev team had no idea what was going to end up happening. But it basically got to the point where just no mid-range deck could exist. And I think once we saw that iteration of Control, that's part of why you don't see 4-mana Wrath anymore, is just the green creature strategies just could not exist. And because the green creature strategies couldn't exist, to any efficient rate, there was no way to then metagame them against the black and the blue mono black and mono blue versions. But mostly for modern sake, it's just mana efficiency. It's just too tough to get to 3 mana and never play 2 spells in a turn. Unfortunately, Modern Magic's just so much about, like, can you cast all of your spells in an efficient manner? Pink Floyd, I've been playing since Zendikar. My very first tournament was an FNM, probably about two weeks after the set released. My buddy gave me a red-white landfall deck, where I started 0-2, and then in the 0-2 bracket, my opponent played a Step Links on turn 1, and then on turn 2, played a Scalding Tarn, and I had never seen it in my life, so I asked if I could read their card, and my opponent made a comment of, why do you have to read it? You have them in your deck also. And I was just like, no, I don't. And then he was just like, don't lie to me. I don't think he actually said don't lie to me, but he like made some other like sarcastic / rude comment. And I read the card, was like, wow, this is super sweet. You get to trigger landfall twice. And then asked my buddy why there weren't Scalding Tarns in my deck, and he's like, they're in my deck, because he was playing Blue-White Red Super Friends. So that was my first experience with Magic. But yeah, I mostly started playing Magic to prepare for World of Warcraft tournaments. I will play the World of Warcraft trading card game. I guess if you want to call it a professional level. I won one of their Pro Tours back in 2009, and one of my now very close friends that I met through that game said, hey, I've got a giant Moto collection. If you want to share the collection, we can battle together. So I ended up, making a Moto account, and we sort of shared cards, and we trade them back and forth and battle all the time. And when I first got into it, I mostly played Modern, because that was sort of the format that was propping up. But I usually played like these weird Esper creature decks with Dark Confidant, Tidehowl Sculler, and Geist of St. Trapp, and those are sort of my jam. Yeah, it happens everywhere. There are people that are just like that, and to be fair, that guy that said that to me is actually still a friend of mine. I still think the guy's great. It was just that sort of comment that I got was sort of silly. Yeah, Jordy, I used to go down there a bunch. My favorite memory of the Costa Mesa Women's Center was the night after my 21st birthday. My roommate was nice enough to drive me to the PTQ to play Blue-White-Red Flash. I remember at one point passing out during the middle of my turn, and a judge had to come wake me up. I looked at my hand, had no idea what was going on, managed to win the game, and then found out I won the round. My opponent was nice enough to tell me that I had won game 1. Thankfully, they were an honest human being. The next round, I mulliganed to 2 against Malairapod, who mulligans to 6, and I won the game very easily by bolting a Noble Hierarch, getting to a 3rd land to electrolyze a bird and a Noble Hierarch, and then electrolyzing another Noble Hierarch and another bird on the following turn, as they were stuck on 1 land. So, yeah. The Costa Mesa Women's Center is great. I definitely miss playing PTQs there. I do miss playing PTQs in general, not from the sense of just the stress of feeling like I had to win a tournament to do anything and feel like I accomplished anything, but I've met a lot of my friends through playing cards, and a lot of the friends that I have today are through Magic. And sorry, I was laughing at the comment that I saw in chat. And I mean, a lot of those people that I did, get lucky to meet, people that I consider like, not just like much more than acquaintances, like actual friends that I'd like to spend time with, I've met through the Costa Mesa Women's Center. Andy Quester's still one of my buddies. I met him through Daniel Betancourt when they both lived up in Bakersfield before he moved to Oregon. I mean, I've loaned Andy cards before. I've stayed at his house once. Like, all around great dude. And, I wouldn't have met people like that if I hadn't played Magic. So, shout outs to all the great people out there. Brian, it wasn't meant to be a generalistic comment of I hate East Coast people or I hate West Coast people. I'm sorry. It was more of a, like, hey, there are bad people and there are good people everywhere. It's just a matter of, finding the right ones you want to hang out with. Wait, Shadow Vanguard, are you Brian Belts? Pink Floyd, that doesn't make you old. I started playing that game, came out on day 1, that was just almost 11 years ago at this point. Maybe not even that. How do you justify mulliganing to 2? My hand was Restoration Angel, Kiki Jiki? I don't remember what the last card was. Oh no, 3 lands I would have snap capped. 3 lands would have been the fastest keep of my life. Yeah, Dokumoy, working on a digital card game, it is one of the trickiest facets, because it's how do you keep people coming back? And a lot of it is needing to build up that social thing. Like, I do enjoy playing Magic. I would not be sitting here streaming and hanging out with you guys if I did not enjoy playing Magic. When I go to Grand Prix and Pro Tours, the reason why I go is I still enjoy the game. But at the end of the day, the thing that would keep me coming back is the people. I've met, again, so many of my friends through playing cards, and so many of the people that I get to hang out with today are through playing Magic. And, like, at the end of the day, I think that I spent like $15,000 going to tournaments last year. I think was the number that I wrote up on my taxes. Like, that amount of money is a cost basically to go hang out with my friends. And then whatever I can recoup back at doing well at tournaments, that's just like cool. But it's an excuse for me to travel around, see a bunch of cool places, and at the end of the day, get to hang out with some of my closest friends. That is, you know, what playing a physical card game is. Duretti, I've listened to some of them. I started listening to his podcast at first, but I did start downloading them recently. I think he does a pretty fantastic job. He's super, super energetic. That was a little bit of a struggle for me at first, where he just had so much energy. It was just kind of like having a little giddy kid around who was like 12 years old and so excited that he sort of needed to, hey, Mark, chill, man. Life's good. What's going on? Just talk to me on like a real level. But overall, I think he does a great job, and I think those are pretty interesting. But I don't think I've heard all these 20 years, 20 talks. This is the GDC thing. I think I've read about this on either Reddit or Facebook or Twitter. I don't Reddit much, so I'm trying to get all caught up on that. Get the worst of the summers and worst of the winters. Yeah, East Coast. I didn't actually live on the East Coast. I lived in upstate New York for a little while, but I was really young then, didn't have to deal with anything. I guess the first time where I was actually like a human, I was like 7 to 13 years old when I lived in Michigan. 7 to 12, sorry. When I lived in Michigan, and that's not even close to the East Coast, so. You didn't see me in Pittsburgh. When was Pittsburgh? It's like 4 or 5 weeks ago? That was a standard one. Yeah, I didn't end up going to Pittsburgh. Just a lot of jet lag coming back. Didn't want to take too much more time off work. I took over doing a lot of development work on Set 6 that released for Hex that's now called Scars of War. And I really wanted to put good work into that, and just taking so much time off of work, I couldn't reasonably honestly feel like I'd put in good amount of work. Like, the set was locked down at that point, but I couldn't honestly feel like I put in good work into it and not be there that much. So a lot of it for me is just balancing, you know, time that I'm traveling around playing tournaments and time that I'm actually at work. I take really strong pride in doing things well, and if I'm ever half-assing something, I can't take it. Something's going to break for me. I need to get my priorities straight, and for me, I care about the job that I do. There's a lot of people that I care about that enjoy the product that, you know, the team that I work with and I create, and I would not feel comfortable putting out something that I feel like we had half-assed. So I definitely wanted to put a bunch more time into that, and that was why I didn't want to travel around them more. Brandon, when's Cleveland, though? Because I'll probably go to Cleveland. You just got to tell me when it is. Any chance that I get to go see Pam, the owner of REW Hobbies? Anytime I get to see her, it's just an easy excuse for me to like, yep, I'll be there. Lived in Georgia for 20 years, moved out to Seattle. Gray, are you someone that enjoys the rain? Because I love the rain. I love clouds. I love the rain. I love cool weather. So, you know, summers here in Southern California can get a little brutal for me, but at the end of the day, I mean, you still just live, you know, an hour and a half from the beach, and I live an hour from the, I mean, I live on frickin' a mountain for, you know, Christ's sake. I live at 3,600 elevation or whatever. But I mean, realistically, if I want to drive and go skiing or snowboarding, I'm an hour from that. Like, I just have everything around, so everything's great, but it takes zero pride in my work, or life's so much easier for it. Dokomoy, I don't believe you. Brennan, I can't imagine why I wouldn't be there. It's team limited? Alright, well, I'm truly blessed. Martin Yuza stuck his neck out for me, and he and Shuhei are picking me up for Mexico City, so I'm going to pray that I don't embarrass them. Like I certainly embarrassed myself in front of you guys all tonight. So I've got easily one of the, you know, top 10 teams in the room outside of myself. I think I'm like pretty far down there in terms of like limited play on players on the Pro Tour. I think I'm probably better than your average PTQ player, but I don't believe that I'm better than your average like PTQ reg. At limited, I think I have a lot of limited work still to prove. I think a lot of it is just base theory. I think I learn a lot of things every time I go to the Madison draft camp, so hopefully I can continue to work on that. But yeah, assuming that they don't get rid of me and they want to have me back for Team Limited, I'll be there. Worst comes to worst, I will find 2 friends that, they can drag me through the mud, I'll drag them through the mud, and we'll play Team Limited, and it'll be a blast. So expect to see me there. Alright, we got a bunch of Seattleites. That's awesome. Seattle's a great place. Wonderful city, wonderful people, weather's great. Actually rains more. Really? I can't believe that's possible. Okay, Dokomai, that makes sense to me. Out of curiosity, is it just a thing where you like the sort of freedom it gives you, you like the pay of it? There's got to be something that keeps you wanting to do that job. Because for me, it's like, if I don't love something, I'm just not going to keep doing it. Like, I'm just going to go find something else. Like, I think if I could turn streaming into a job and I loved it, like, I do really enjoy this, I would probably do it. It's just a matter of, I do enjoy what I'm doing right now, so I haven't had an incentive structure to see, like, I wonder if I can make streaming a full-time job. And, I mean, I don't want to steal viewers from, Kenji or Paul or Gabby, because I'm friends with all 3 of them. They're all great, but food's also great. You are definitely correct on that, Justin. But, I mean, if I didn't care about my current job, I would look into doing something else. I'm sort of intrigued why you don't look to do something else. Alright, we're going to start cracking these chests. I have 7 chests. We're going to crack all of them as a thank you for everyone hanging out. It's the 2-year-old who needs clothes and food, hence the... Brendan, you've got a little one at home? Congrats, man. Great, I will be there. I'm going to 100% be playing Modern on Saturday and Sunday. I'll be playing Grixis. Whether it's Grixis Control or Grixis Shadow, that'll depend on, whenever we get around to playing some Grixis Shadow here on stream. I might stream again tomorrow or Sunday, depends on what I'm doing. My parents keep asking me if I was going to be home this weekend. I don't know why. Maybe they were trying to get me to do something. Whatever. All I know is I'm going to go swimming in the morning, try to run and work out a little bit, because I'm a lazy bum and would like to be in better shape. Yeah, I might stream later on this weekend. Sounds like fun. I got nothing better to do. Hang out with y'all. You guys are great, so... I could do nothing, which is medium, and I could do something fun, which is awesome. So... streaming, fun, awesome. Probably do that. Let's see... But yeah, I'm 100% to play Modern, and probably like 30% to play Legacy. I might just be there on the Thursday, Fridays to hang out and kick it with people, because again, it's just another excuse to go to another place I enjoy and hang out with a bunch of friends. And I've got a bunch of good friends from the WoW TCG there that live in Vegas, so if I can, take a day to hang out with the likes of Tim Rivera, Robert Sorowski, Eric Kirk Buckendorf, Charles Morrison, if any of those guys are watching, I love those guys to death. They're some of the best people I've met through playing cards. I would absolutely love to hang out with them. It isn't super interesting. The main thing is I don't see any point in taking pride in my work. If the work twice as hard, some people who aren't, you make slightly more money, and that's not a strong incentive. I definitely understand that, Dokumoy, from just the strict incentive structure. It's difficult for you. You're making X dollars, and a coworker makes 1.5x. It's very difficult for you to be motivated to put in more effort than them. I would say if there's vertical room for you to grow, then it's definitely something that I would sort of urge you hey, if you can consistently show someone that you're putting in the effort, you're putting out the results, then yeah, there is something for you to work towards. And I think that is one of the, the benefits to sort of the society we live in, where there are those incentive structures. But if that's not something that's appealing for you at work, I can definitely understand where you're kind of just meh, you just show up and do your thing, and you go home at the end of the day. But I do wish that it were better for you. That does seem pretty crappy. If you ever want to talk about it, feel free to hit me up. And worst comes to worst, you're always welcome to hang out in the stream. You're a great person, great people are always welcome. Flashback Innistrad draft is Wednesday. For some reason, they're doing EVR, DK, Innistrad, so they're doing it backwards. And it's not even a real format. Dear goodness gracious. So I drafted some AVR. That set is really, really not great. There are some fantastic sets since I started playing Magic Limited. Like, I'm someone that enjoys Zendikar. I know most people don't, but ZZZ was, I mean, it's probably because it was one of my first formats I really enjoy it. But AVR, 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 oh god, vomit. No thank you. Alright, let's open these chests. Someone start chanting for, like, Wastelands and Leovolds. See what we get. What we get this time. A planar bridge, that's not great. Alright. Come on, big money! Alright, well we got a double rare pack, but don't want either of those. Oh, I'm sorry, Brendan. I will say that you missed out. The first set was really great. The second set was okay. I think that the first set had enough draft rounds, at least for an enfranchised player at the time. It was really, 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 really fun. The third set, I think that they saw what happens when you don't print any answers in a set. Oh, you can open power in these things? Holy moly, we can start playing Vintage. And, like, the set, because of how Soulbond worked, they were too afraid to print, like, instant speed removal that was pushed. And as a result, you sort of just saw decks that were basically just a pile of medium cards. And then there were the green Soulbond decks that were great. And then there was, like, Mistraven that was really good in blue. And outside of that, it just wasn't really a big fan of everything else. 10 play points. Come on, man. Come on, Moto. Ooh, what is this card? Oh, I remember this card. This card's sweet. What's this card? Sage of Lotnam. 1 and a U for a 1/2. Tap, sack, and artifact, draw a card. Foil from 8th edition. Assume that's foil. I can't really tell. I don't have my foil sensors turned on. Alright, well, I assume that card's not worth a darn bit because I've never seen it in my life. Alright, another 10 play points. We're getting whacked here. Alright, maybe we need to open up a Kaladesh pack. Here we go. Let's open up a Kaladesh pack. We'll rinse the bad luck out. Oh yeah, look at that Padim. That's great. What if there's another Kaladesh pack? Let's just crack another Kaladesh pack. That'll probably help us out. Just gotta open up a Mythic Rare, and then we'll just turn on the luck and we'll spike. Alright, there we go. Open to Saheeli Riot. Didn't get banned. So, that's probably worth some tickets. We can probably sell that. Alright, so now we spiked to Mythic Rare. We're back on. We could open up another Leovold. I don't know what Atraxa is. I assume that's another one of those cool commandery things. Miracles isn't the most fun mechanic to play against either. Gray, if you learned anything about me, it'll be that I really, really like playing the unfun mechanics to play against. I really sort of like the slow, tortury nature of playing those kind of decks against people. So that's why I kind of play Grixis Controls, just the slow churning and slow torture of your opponent. I'm very much a black mage at heart, and after black, I align with red-black or black-white the most, and then Grixis. So I do like these slow, torturing natures. All right, here we go. We get ooh, Kiki-Jiki. Cool. I don't think I own 4 of those, so that's sweet. All right, there we go. We spiked a Mythic. Somebody, let's get the price of Kiki-Jiki. Price. Oops. Kiki-Jiki mirror. It might be a comma in there. I don't know. Ooh, Dees. Oh, that's a Saheeli. Gosh darn it. Oh, even better. Man, I thought I ran bad for a second. Yeah, no, still never happened in my life. Still never got unlucky. Alright, what do we get this time? 42. 40 play points. We're rich. We're flooded. What is this? Whenever you cast a Druid spell, you can draw a card. But it's a 5-mana 3/3. How am I going to cast more Druid spells after that? Alright, so here's a little thing about design. If you're going to put this text box about casting spells or something entering play, the card wants to try to solve its own puzzle in some way to help you accommodate that. If you put it on a cheaper card, you don't need to do that. You can just tell them sort of build their deck around it. The better way for this to play would be, hey, if you cast some Druids, you draw some cards. So the bottom line, it does end up making some amount of sense where it's tap a bunch of these Druid things so you don't get punished for having those Druids already in play. Gain control of all lands target player controls. Goodness gracious, that is not fair. That probably hurt somebody's soul in Commander. That's not okay. You should not be doing this to people. But yeah, that first line of text that's usually the most appealing to probably the majority of your players. This is the much more flashier output, so like this is what's gonna like spike it for somebody. Like this is the line a casual player reads, the second line. They gain all their lands. That's the player, your sort of casual player is gonna be excited by this. But the one that actually makes this card like viable to play is the draw card thing. So putting that on a 5-mana guy, I think is just hurting this card too much. Overall, the output's fine enough that I think you can print this card, and it's not bad at all, but overall I think you'd do better. I like seeing the draw card line when the card costs 2, 3, 4 mana. Once it costs 5 mana, it's just very difficult to have more spells in your hand to cast. Little design thing there. You've had your lane stolen by it, digital. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Use that drip, feels so good. Alright, maybe there's an idiot. Alright, we're gonna crack our Kaladesh packs if we can. These things never sell, so I should like cracking at this point. Ooh, a Panelar. Ooh. I had this first pick come up at a Grand Prix, and I was so sad, because I was blue-white at the time, and I took a Panelar, so I had a red splash currently for a Welding Sparks, and I had 2 Prophetic Prisms after pack 1. My deck was like a Cloud Blazer, a Panharmonicon, a Welding Sparks, maybe a Furious Reprisal also. I took the Panelar over the second Cloud Blazer. The guy behind me moved into blue-white because he opened a Doping Bond in pack 2. I felt so stupid. I will say that the Panelar won me a match playing for top 8, so I'll still take the Panelar with the 2 Thopters. I don't really know, because that was so much fun. So I would have hoped that there were just like no packs sitting around. But I got 200 packs for winning the mocks, and I just can't even sell them to bots, like the bots won't even buy them. So I just crack the packs when I get bored. I'm not really bored right now, it's more just seeing like what cool cards we could open. We already opened Saheeli, so I don't know if there's anything else we could open. I'm just gonna crack them until we have 100 left. I don't think you can even have masterpieces. Ooh, a Noxious Gearhulk. I only owned one of those on Mono, so that's good. See, I told you we were going to open a Noxious Gearhulk. So you just gotta ask. I just asked too late for that Steam Vents. Ooh, another Cloud Blazer. Guys, that was so much fun. We did a great job in Kaladesh Limited. That was a great format. Yeah, they're just horrendous now. The other day I was trying to get 1.6 for them, and bots wouldn't even buy them at 1.6. So, Gray, they added them to chest, which is really silly and really weird if you ask me, but... Oh, I should probably put that Saheeli in my trade binder so I remember to trade it. Get in the trade binder, girl. What was the other cool card we opened? Oh, the Kiki. I don't know how many of those I own. 4? Alright, well we don't need 4. Maybe we do. I don't know, the guy I kind of share cards with probably wouldn't be happy if I just sold off his Kiki Jiki for no reason. I don't know, we're never going to do anything with the Kiki Jiki. He just started playing again, he doesn't need a Kiki Jiki. We don't need 4 Kiki Jikis, that's never going to happen. Maybe Jeff Hoogle will come hang out on the stream and he'll tell us we need 4 Kiki Jikis for something, but I just won't believe him. Alright everybody, I'm sorry that we sucked tonight, we didn't win many matches. I'm going to end the stream here though. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Again, I'm going to work at making this a much more regular thing. I've been really, really bad about it. I know I was gone for 7 or 8 weeks from the Pro Tour. My computer's all fixed, so you don't see me playing with my computer screen. Like, I can move it up and down, it doesn't flicker anymore, so I can actually see the screen. I can see... My second monitor is great, so I can see you guys all the time, or everything you're chatting. Unfortunately, I don't get to see all your pretty faces. That would be a little weird, though. We'll stop the analogy there. But yeah, again, thank you for everyone hanging out. I'll tweet out / post on Facebook before the next stream goes live. I'm going to probably shoot for tomorrow or for Sunday. I'm not doing anything again either next weekend, so I might try to do some crazy like 12-hour stream or something where I stream from like 8 in the morning to 8 at night or 10 to 10 or something like that next weekend, because I do want to do a thing where it's like, thank you for people that actually want to hang out with me and kick it. I wouldn't be doing this if no one was watching, obviously. That would just be stupid. But I do really enjoy getting to hang out with people. Like, everyone in the chat's always super positive. I think I've literally dealt with one person that was negative, and I think it was some bot troll that had gotten hosted to me, and it was like, otherwise everyone's been super nice, super friendly. Get a virtual reality setup. Yeah, great. It's a great idea. If only we could do that, right? But yeah, like I said, everyone's great. You're all wonderful, and I can't wait to do this again. This is really great. 36 hours? Seriously, you're insane. You're actually just crazy. I don't know if I could do 24 hours. What's up, Shamble Shark? Yeah, Thunderfister, I don't know if I could be called the master after today. It was more like the novice. Definitely made a couple mistakes. I think we ran slightly below expectation, but I definitely made a couple mistakes that I think one of them cost us a game. Maybe two. Yeah, maybe we lost 2 games. I did keep it on keepable hands. Probably 3 mistakes. We probably lost 3 games straight up from just me not making great plays, but whatever. You're Mr. Negative? Seriously, I think more than anything, you just like to joke around and have a good time. If that makes you negative, then who knows what's going on. It counts as intent to kill, good lord. I got plenty of energy now. I'm used to going to bed at like 10:45 though, so finish the rest of this beer, watch some people on Twitch until I fall asleep around midnight. On day 7 of draft, 666 is weird but not awful. Yeah, Kent, it's... The sets are never designed... Oh, sorry. The odd-numbered sets are designed to be drafted as, 111, 333, 555. Like, Hero Fall was designed to be drafted Hero Fall, Hero Fall, Hero Fall. Sure, did we miss and it was too fast? Yes, I will admit that. We missed, it was a little too fast. Was it ever intended you go scars, scars, scars? No, we know that it happens. Like, we know that for about a 62 to 72 hour period of time, people are going to be drafting that format. Was it ever intended you were playing it a second time? Not really. It's more of a just, getting more of the new cards into people's hands was always the... People want the new cards, so Corey Jones had the idea of, like, let's just give them the new cards. Yeah, it's certainly weird. Like, I drafted on my personal account today. I drafted a Diamond Sapphire, like, Diligence deck, and it was sweet. But, like, I pretty much every single time just want to play all the silly, just all-in combo nature decks, so that's why I draft Diamond Sapphire. It's why I try to draft Blood Wild, like, Dreadlings. I'll try to draft, Sapphire Wild Shroomkin. But, yeah, it's silly. 4+ Clouders. I haven't done that yet. I did have 6 Royal Heralds and 3 Tail of Compassions in one of my decks. That wasn't the deck I drafted today, though. The deck I did today was just like a bunch of Orbiculons and nobody was taking them. And I think I just had like 11 2s in my deck. It was great. Yeah, maybe we made a mistake putting Hideous Conversion on the watch list because everyone knows now it's just like a great card and there's things going on with it. But I will say that there were a lot of times in development where there were a lot of cards that got changed. I can't wait to write those articles, like all the cards that got changed because Hideous Conversion exist. Pounder Party Beach, good lord, you guys are great. I have no idea people were doing. There's no idea. Like, there are some things that go on in some of the drafts where I'm just like, it just eats away at my soul. Like, sure, maybe we missed on the development a couple cards and we put some PowerPoints in spots we shouldn't have. There's always things like that that happen. But there are then other times where you just look and you're like, why is that card still in this pack? But I mean, that's the great thing about drafts is like when you're in the right spot, you get rewarded, and when you don't, you feel silly. So that's great. Yeah, it's really fun. Alright, Kent, cheers to you though, man. I'm gonna take off. Have fun. If you're drafting 666 right now, kill it. Hopefully everything goes well. I'm going to try to not get my beer tangled in my headphones here. And everybody, have a great night. Thank you for kicking in again. I'll probably be on... My guess would be tomorrow. That's my guess, but no promises. Later, y'alls.